Good evening, everybody. Today we're going to be doing solving equations with rational coefficients. So let's start with number 15. I think it already gives it to you in the book, but we'll go ahead and go through it anyways. Since we are multiplying here, right, whenever we have a number next to a letter, we're multiplying. We need to divide, okay, our number out. So that's 0.4. So we'll divide by 0.4 over here, because whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. Well, 0.4 over 0.4 cross out to be 1, which leaves D. And now 2.8 divided by 4. Well, 28 divided by 4, I know is, let's see, 28 divided by 4, I believe is 7. Let's check all this to make sure. I might be thinking threes here. Let's see, calculator. 2.4 divided by, oh, sorry, that was 2.8, wasn't it? Yep, let's correct that. .8 divided by 4 equals, hey, look at that, 0.7. So this would be 0.7. And I'd like you all to check your work when you do it as well. Okay, try to do the example here the correct way, so you'll do it at home the correct way. Double check your work with the calculator. All right, number 17. Once again, we have a multiplication problem over here. Fixes the numbers next to a variable. So I will divide by the coefficient. Whatever I divide from one side, I must divide from the other side. These cross out to leave me n. Number, let's see, 2, clear this out. 2 point, oh, sorry, messed that up. 2.8. Let's see, 2.8 divided by 6 will equal 3.8. 3.8. And now I also have to remember that a negative divided by a positive leaves me a negative. All right, let's go to number 19. Number 19 says negative 6 1/4 equals 3/5 C. Well, once again, I have the number next to the variable, and I have to go ahead and get rid of it, right? So I'm going to divide by 3/5, excuse me. And that will give me a fraction divided by a fraction. We have to use that old method, KFC, or for some of you, KCF, when we go ahead and solve this on the other side. Right? Because whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. This will cross out easy and leave me with C. But I have to figure out what is negative 6 1/4 divided by 3/5. Well, first, what I have to do is remember to turn this into a improper fraction. Well, 4 times 6, that's going to give me 24, and 24 plus 1 is 25. So this is really negative 25 divided by 4. And if using the KFC method, remember KFC, we're going to keep the first one. We're going to flip the second one. We're going to change from division to multiplication. So I have to flip this second set here. I kept the first one the same order, 25 over 4. I'm flipping the second one, which will now be 5 over 3. And now there is no way for 3 to go into 25 or 4 to go into 5. I'm forced to multiply these numbers and then simplify. All right, so let's do that. 25 times 5, well, that's going to be 125. More specifically, negative 125. And now 4 times 3, well, that's 12. And I know you're thinking you're done, but remember, we have to turn this back into a proper fraction in order to get my answer for C. So if I do that, let's go to our calculator. How many times does 12 go into 125? Well, 125 divided by 12 is going to equal 10. Okay, so I know I've got 10 there. That made sense, right? And we know there's going to be a negative number because it was negative. And what's going to be left over? Well, let's think about it. 10 times 12 is 120. 125 minus 112. That's going to leave me 5 over 12. So the answer to my problem, and for those that didn't get that, I'm going to work it out over here. 125 divided by 12. You see where we got the 125 from. Remember, every fraction is really a division problem. Top number divided by the bottom number. Top number divided by the bottom number, right? And we would need 10. Well, 12 goes into 12 once, right? And I still have a 5 left over, right? And because I had to skip 1 to get to here, right? Because I would need to make this into a 0.50. That's going to be a 10. And then it would be 5 left over, right? A remainder of 5. So, let's see. C is going to equal negative 10 and 5/12. All right, let's go to number 21 and finish this off. The Mammoth Cave Discovery Tour includes an elevation change of 140 feet. This is 7 over 15 of the elevation change, 7/15 of the elevation change on the Wild Cave Tour. All right, what is the elevation change on the Wild Cave Tour? Use the bar diagram to solve arithmetically. Well, on one side, we know the Mammoth Cave has an elevation of 140. Okay, that is going to be the Mammoth Cave Discovery. And this is 7/15 of the Wild Cave Tour. So the Wild Cave Tour, okay, now they're saying it is 7/15 of the elevation. So this would be, let's see, 120 feet, okay. This is 7/15 of it, so we're going to say that this is 7 over 15, and we don't know what it is yet, so we're going to have to put x, okay? So now we have our equation, 140 equals 7 over 15 x. Once again, we've got to get rid of the number that's with the variable, so we're going to divide by 7/15, and whatever I divide from one side, I'll divide from the other, which leaves me a fraction over a fraction. So what I have here is 140, because we're going to keep the top number the same using our keep, flip, change method, or keep, change, flip, however you learned it. Keep the first one the same, that's 140 over 1. We're going to flip the second one, which is 15 over 7. And we're going to multiply instead of divide. Well, I know that 7 goes into 14 twice. So that means one of these 7s is going to go into this 20 times. And now I have 20 times 15. Well, 2 times 15 is 30. And since it was 20, we're going to have to add another 0. That means it's 300. And 1 times 1, well, that equals 1. So 300 over 1, that means my answer is, let's see, the Wild Cave Tour equals 300 feet. All right, and that's it for tonight. Good luck with the rest of them, guys. Oh, well, there was our equation. It was over here. And our solution is over here. Have a great night, everybody.